If you're an established personal stylist listening to this episode, can you remember when it was mind-blowing that this was a career and that you could actually get paid to style people? If your styling business reality is not matching that excitement in your dream anymore, then I have something for you. You do not have to stay stuck and second-guessing yourself in your business for another season. I'm about to open the doors to my exclusive group program, the Income Accelerator, and it is designed for established personal stylists like you who want to achieve consistent income months, create unique and high-value styling services that help them stand out, attract dream clients who cannot wait to work with you, master the sales skills that will turn objections, and let me wait till I lose 5 pounds into enthusiastic yeses. There are only 8 spots in this program, so head to the show notes, join the waitlist, and get ready to transform your styling business because I'm going to show you the exact business strategy that will get you feeling that excitement and that enthusiasm again for your business once and for all.
Welcome to the Six Figure Personal Stylist Podcast, the ultimate no BS business podcast for ambitious personal stylists ready to build a 6-figure and beyond personal styling business. You won't hear the typical snooze fest business advice that most personal stylists get told all of the time. Nope, instead I'll be sharing business building strategies that will help you create a killer personal brand, a cult following of loyal personal styling clients, and make a ton of cash while creating lasting style transformations for your clients. I'm Nicole Achi, your host and a former personal stylist of 14 years who built a lucrative styling business in 3 major cities, but only after spending years trying to crack the 6-figure styling business code without burning out. And now I'm here to tell you how to do exactly the same. Let's get into it.
Today's episode is going to be a little bit different, and I, for one, am excited about it. So let's dive in. And in full transparency, I'm going to tell you what this episode is. This is an audio sales page episode for my upcoming Income Accelerator. So this is a program that's very near and dear to my heart. You've heard me talk about it on these episodes before, and I want to be totally clear with you that that's what we're doing today. We're talking about the program. I'm not here to trick you into thinking it's something else. We're all grown, and I believe you should know what you're getting yourself into. And even if you're not considering investing in this program right now, you don't think it's a good fit, here's why I want to encourage you to stick with me. There are 2 reasons that are actually going to be beneficial for you in your business, regardless of if you ever join me on this journey. Number 1, you're going to gain some valuable insights into building a sustainable and profitable personal styling business. I'm going to lay out the steps that I take the people inside my programs through. And if you want to go replicate those on your own to get your business to the next level, I am totally cool with that because I would rather you guys be out here doing the right things, taking the right steps, looking at the right places to get to your next level than not, whether it's with me or not. And the other reason why you might want to consider listening in and continuing with me is because this format is something you may want to consider for your audience, especially if you work with people who are on the go, very busy professionals, people that like to consume a lot of podcasts. This could be a wonderful, wonderful option for you to get more people to understand your styling offers, right? I'm really a big fan of you guys thinking outside of the box, trying new things, presenting your business and your offers in new ways. And the other reason why I really like this format for you, because even if people aren't necessarily in that demographic of sort of busy professionals, I think this is useful for anybody with any audience. When you do an audio sales page, you give people that have different learning styles a better way to access information that they need to make buying decisions. There are so many types of learning styles, and that's something that I have spent the last 6 or 7 months learning more about so that my programs are more inclusive of different types of learners, so that people that have struggled in group programs before can really feel like they're victorious in my programs. And this is a piece of that. So if people want to work with me, I want to give them the information in a way that's going to help them process it. It's incredibly important when you're helping people try to create any type of transformation in their business or in their personal life and their style. So you may want to borrow this idea. If you don't have a podcast, you don't need to worry about that. You can do this without any kind of fancy editing software. You can do kind of a rough cut of it on your own. You can just, all you need is a microphone that's good. And if you have a Mac or an Apple device, you can use your GarageBand software that's already on the computer. I know if you have a PC, there's a version of this. You can look it up on YouTube. I've seen it. And then you just need to record it. And I highly recommend it. You don't need to even have any place fancy to host it. You can host it in a Google Drive folder and share it with people when they sign up for a sales call. So that's another reason why you might want to listen in. Let's get into some background and context on this program. Do you remember when you were so excited to be a stylist? You were like, I am meant for this. This is for me. Oh my gosh, I can get paid to do this. So that is what I'm here to talk about sparking again. That is what this program is about. And I want to get you, again, even if you never joined me, I want to get you back into remembering that part of yourself, because personal stylist or not, it's so easy to lose track of it in the details and the minutia of everyday life. It's true in all of our relationships, right? And we're in a relationship with our business. So why wouldn't it be the case in our business that even if we're doing well, we can kind of fall out of love with it a little? And what I know to be true after all these years in business is that if you can get back into that feeling of excitement and creativity, particularly as stylists, the world opens up to you. Sales feel easier. Your clients just seem to come out of the woodwork that are great fits. You know, I'm not saying you're never nervous. I'm not saying you're never going to have problems in your business again, but it drastically speeds up our progress. It drastically speeds up our joy and our creativity and our originality, which is really important right now in the styling industry to stand out. So depending on how long you've been around as a listener, I'm just going to give you a very brief kind of background on myself and why I have any business sharing a program that will help you as an established stylist fall back in love with your business. To be clear at the outset of this, the Income Accelerator program is for established personal stylists. There's a couple things you are going to need in order to be a good fit for this, and all of them include past work with clients that were ideal in some way. Even if you've only had a couple, I need you to come to this program with certain information so that I can get you a certain result. This is not a like everybody and their mother can join this group program. It is specifically designed and has features for established personal stylists. I just ran the program with someone who had been in business for 20 years. And I also had someone in the program the first round that was in it for 3 years. So if you're anywhere in that spectrum and you've worked with someone as a client that paid you, that you felt was a perfect fit, and you want 1 million more of them, this program could be for you. So why do I have a right to talk about this? Well, I was a former personal stylist of 14 years. I closed my business 1.5 years ago when it became clear that the styling consultancy was doing really well. I have at the time, 1.5-year-old. Now she's 3. And I really fell in love with helping stylists get to the next level. It really is this incredible passion I have. And it was something that was very clear. Like this was my next chapter. But for 14 years, I was a personal stylist that worked in Boston was my headquarters. I also had clients in Washington, D.C., specifically through the periods of election cycles. I worked with a lot of women in the political sector because I really specialized in personal brands. And I also had clients in New York, kind of in like the suburbs. I had like a enclave of clients in that world. And for most of my career, I was in person, though I had some virtual clients right before the pandemic and then went entirely virtual after the pandemic. And I know what it's like and the toll that it can take to have inconsistent clients on your emotional well-being and your mental well-being and your financial well-being. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like because to be a stylist means you deeply care about people and you deeply care about them being seen in the world. And that's a very specific passion. That's not the same kind of passion that a lot of people have. And it requires you to have a big vision for yourself and for other people. And when you're tired, when you're run down, when you're emotionally exhausted because of the toll of inconsistent business can take on your life, it's very hard to hold that vision for other people and for yourself. And I felt this way as I struggled during my career for 7 years. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I figured all this out overnight. I'm not going to tell you that I never made mistakes. There's a lot of money went into me figuring out what I'm going to share with you, and a lot of amazing human beings that guided me and mentored me and shared things with me. And now I get to put all of that into a program for you. When I was stuck between $50,000 to $75,000, I always felt like I was at a place where I could never work on the business. I had to work in the business, which made it really, really hard to grow. Another reason why I'm very into the $100,000 mark is that it's usually a point where you can at least eke out after taxes some money for help, which allows you to then get like a clearer sense of how to be the CEO of your business, right? And that's what money does. Money allows you to get like a little bit further away in a sense from doing the day-to-day to your business to stay with the vision. And that's also important for us holding a vision for our clients, right? It's hard to hold a vision when you are stressed out and overwhelmed all the time. So the reason why I created the Six-Figure Income Accelerator is because I really wanted to show established personal stylists how to achieve consistent income months. I want to show them that they can hop off the roller coaster of financial and emotional highs and lows, and they really could fall back in love with their styling business, even if they didn't see the road forward right now in the moment. So how do you do that? Well, there's 5 things that I think you really need to be able to do in order to get back to that place. And this is what the program Income Accelerator is based off of. The first one is that you really need to have a modern marketing strategy. And you need to have a modern marketing strategy that is appropriate to a luxury service provider. And it needs to be one that is properly plugged in to the post-pandemic world. Because as I've talked about on other episodes, and I'll link them in the show notes, you need to not be using a marketing strategy that got somebody really far 5 years ago, 6 years ago, because the internet changed with the pandemic, and so didn't buyers, particularly personal styling, potential clients. And if some of you are thinking, well, I don't right now charge luxury prices, do I really need a marketing strategy for a luxury service provider? The answer is yes, because there is no personal stylist in the world, whether they are undercharging or not, that isn't seen as a luxury when you get down to the brass tacks of your potential client's life. Nobody needs a personal stylist. They need food, they need water, they need shelter, and they need health insurance, quite frankly. They don't need a personal stylist. I'm not saying that you're not valuable. I'm not saying what you do isn't life-changing, but it is a luxury. And if you are not speaking in a way that ignites people's excitement for a luxury service, it's going to be real hard to motivate them to part with the money that they could be using for a very nice vacation. And that is usually the math people are doing, especially when you get to a certain level. Now, I don't really care what your prices are, because you could be charging $15 or you could be charging $50 an hour, or you could be charging $500 an hour. Somebody thinks that's a luxury. That's what's amazing about the world. That's why there's so many places for personal stylists. Regardless of how many join this industry, there'll be a place for you if you position your business right, because people do have different perceptions of luxury and style and what they want their style to do for them. So there's a seat at the table for you. But if you don't know how to speak to that aspirational aspect of a client, again, regardless of how much you're charging, then your marketing is not going to hit. And if you are not aware of how the world has changed since the pandemic, as again, I've talked about in earlier episodes, you may use marketing strategies that don't work anymore. And what really works now is relational selling and creating a deep and sometimes small, but very, very deep relationship with your audience. Your audience doesn't have to be big to do the things that I teach people. I don't have a huge audience. I still think numbers are important, but you don't need to wait till you get to a certain number of like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Instagram followers in order, or even an email list in order to make 6 figures. But you need to have the right kind of strategy for the type of service sector, so luxury services that we are in as stylists. The next thing you really have to have a clear sense is what income generating activities you need to be doing daily, monthly, quarterly, and biannually in order to move your business to the next level. One of the things that we have talked about in earlier episodes is the difference between busy work and work that moves your business forward. I mentioned that in the accountability episode. And this is where I see a lot of very talented, very experienced stylists getting stuck. And what often happens is because so many personal stylists that are truly successful. Again, this isn't even about how much money you make. This is really about your emotional experience of your business and the highs and lows of not knowing when more income is coming and not knowing that you can trust yourself to generate that income with your marketing. And so when you don't have a sense of what the core activities are that you need to be prioritizing every day, it's very, very easy to feel burnt out. It's easy to put your head down, get a client or two for the season, look up, and now you don't have any other clients. We all do this, and it's not just stylists that do this, but I only care about stylists for the purposes of this conversation. It's all service providers that can struggle with this. And so not knowing the things that you should be prioritizing, especially on a daily, monthly kind of schedule, makes everything feel important. It makes everything feel like it's top of the list in terms of priorities. And that will take a toll on you because that's not how it works. And I know that on top of the marketing and the bookkeeping and the admin and the emails and the whatever else you have going on, you have to serve your client. And that, depending on the kind of client you have at any given moment in time, can be more or less work, right? So not knowing this was probably one of the biggest things, including marketing, that kept me stuck because I would wake up every day not sure of like what I should be doing. And if I think everybody can feel overwhelmed, but if you're neurodivergent like I am and so many stylists are because so many creative people are, that takes on a whole other level. It takes on a whole other level of meaning to your identity, and what you kind of make that overwhelm and shut down mean will keep you stuck for longer. So if you have a list of the things that matter to move you forward, you will already feel more in control of your business. The next piece you really need to get your business to like consistent income months and feel excited again is styling offers that people are actually excited to buy and to recommend. I think that we underestimate as stylists, we can be great at our job, we can get people results. But if there isn't the element of excitement and surprise and delighting our client and having these little details that are specifically feel like they are for them, and you can talk about that in your marketing, you are missing a ton of money because your marketing isn't over there. It's not a piece of your business that's separate from what you do with your clients. It is a very important integral part of your marketing is what is happening in those offers, because you will spin your wheels telling people about things they don't care about if you don't create styling offers people are excited about. And the excitement factor is critical throughout the whole process. The excitement factor is something you weave into the systems that I give my stylists in this program. I don't make you sit there and figure out the systems. I give them to you. People have told me it was worth twice the cost of admission that I charge for this program just to get those systems. Because when you do it this way, you have this sort of experience on repeat for your clients that makes them excited for the next thing and the next thing. And if you're a virtual stylist, you probably have had the experience of having to really chase people down, and it's exhausting. It makes you anxious about when your next client's going to come and if you can even take a new client, because what if that person comes back and you are already booked? How do you handle that? Well, some of it, I'm not saying I can promise you never get a crappy client again, but I can promise you that when you have systems and offers that go together and excite people and make them want more, and you let your client know what comes next and what comes next, because emotional safety is something that's very, very important inside styling containers. We don't think about this when we're stylists because to us it's not that big of a deal, but to other people it's an incredibly vulnerable act. And there are lots of amazing stylists that don't factor in the vulnerability and the amount of safety which comes through communication consistently on your end as a stylist, is required for the person that you are working with to stay in the game. And then, and I don't just mean stay in the game like they answer your emails. I mean like they fully are emotionally and mentally with you. They're not like checked out because they feel like you are not giving them what they need to know, what their next step is. And that's huge. Another thing that happens often with our styling offers is that and again, I've talked about this before, I have no judgment on how you got the offers you have, but regardless of how many years you've been a stylist, because there's definitely a misunderstanding about like, well, I'm very advanced, I've been around for a while. Kind of isn't really the same thing to be an advanced stylist as to have an advanced business model. And in fact, a lot of very advanced stylists are shooting themselves in the foot and have everything they need to have an advanced business model, but they're not slowing down long enough to create it. And when you do that, you get longer life cycles from your clients, so you make more money. So it starts with creating an offer people are excited about, and that excitement comes from you being able to speak about it in your offers because you don't have the same offers as everybody else. Sure, components of the offer are going to be the same. Most people are going to have a closet edit, a styling session, and a shopping session somewhere in there, right? Probably not in that order. That order was off, but you get my point. And so when you do that, you have the basis of it. But most stylists, they stop there. They don't build in the aspects of customization and creativity that could get them to the next level. And honestly, the more you do this, it's kind of, I give you the framework to do this, but the more you get better at this, the more life-changing it is because you can really get excited when you get this down to like keep making it better. And when people experience that, then they want to tell people about you. And that's how people get basically like clients that are like a sales force for them, is because they really focus in on client experience. So that's incredibly important on your way to steady income months. The next thing is how you learn to interact with and study your ideal client. There's an enormous amount of information in this program that talks about the psychology. And like I just mentioned earlier about like the safety that needs to be involved. And a lot of stylists that I've spoken to who really do take a very psychological approach to style, which I love, haven't thought of that because they're just thinking about it in their marketing. They're thinking about, well, let me tell you about this study. Let me tell you about how it makes you more productive to have the style you want. All those things are great for marketing. But when the client gets into the container, a lot of that psychology and the application of how human beings think, work, are motivated, it goes away. So if you have that in your processes and in your business, again, you create raving fans. And you can talk about that on social media. So now your marketing is not separate from your business, it is a part of your business. That's why so many of us, and myself included in the past, really struggled. So those are some of the pieces. And what can happen when those things are not there for you, again, is that yes, you're going to feel burnt out because you're going to be, if you don't have the systems, then you're going to be sending every email manually. You're going to be doing all of those types of things. You're going to forget at some point, if you're fully booked, something that's important for the client, right? I think we've all done that. Even with systems, you can do that. But to have the mental space in your mind to know that those things are handled for you is priceless. You are going to constantly question, is my service good enough? Are my prices where they should be? And that's another thing we talk about in depth, is what your pricing is, the psychology of the pricing, what your actual income goals are. I have a whole calculator in the program. There's no guessing. You're going to feel overwhelmed by social media marketing because you don't have a clear sense of what the things are that move your business forward. How do you know if when you say something and you put up a link to your waitlist or your one-to-one offers or a sales call, how do you know that that piece of content is going to, at least with a few people, connect enough, land enough to generate them to take an action? Most of us, for a very long time, myself included, don't know how that equation works. So our content might be good. Our content might be getting a lot of views. We might get a lot of likes. Our reels might go viral. But as you've heard from other clients on this podcast, going viral doesn't necessarily mean more money, because you can have a high income month, but the business cannot sustain that level of clientele. And often what happens is we go viral and we think, oh, this is amazing, all these eyes on our business, but they're not the right eyes, which means that then we've just wasted all of this time doing intake and all of that with people that just like aren't the right fit. And so now we could have been putting out more thoughtful, potentially not viral content that kept us with a client because it was the right client for years. So sure, maybe you make $2,500 from a client by going viral, but that's it. It stops there. I don't want you having buyers. I want you having fans. I want you having raving fans. And that's what this program helps stylists create, especially because it puts your focus on the right places so that you can have more time with your kids. You can have more time to go on vacation and not feel like you have to answer your emails all the time. You can feel like you can take a month off if you want to. You have so much more freedom when you learn these skills. You also, and I'm not going to promise you by any means you're never going to feel overwhelmed or, doubt yourself again. But when you have something clear and strategic to go back to, these are things I have used to get my styling business back to six figures post-pandemic and what I use with my clients all of the time. There is an interview with Erin Stoll on my Instagram account that talks about how we got her out of her six-figure full-time job into a full-time personal styling business. It's the same idea, the same concepts, the same strategies I've used with these clients who have talked about it are in this group program. So what are we covering each week? It's a 5-week program, and I'm going to tell you exactly what that looks like. So the first week, we're going to talk about retooling your styling services and recalibrating your pricing. We're going to talk about how you can make a styling offer that's unique and profitable and in demand to the ideal client. We're not talking to the people that were, they were okay, but we weren't super excited about them. Nope. Your entire business is going to be built around the person you are super excited about. You're also going to do some really interesting market research. You're going to go back and talk to some of your clients, which, P.S., the very first thing you do in this program usually generates more sales for the stylist involved. I'm not going to give away what it is, but it's specifically there to help stylists who want to kind of kickstart their business up see that by doing the work in this program, because it's all work you got to do anyways. I'm not giving you like a random workbook that it's just a bunch of busy work. I'm giving you things you need to be doing every day, week, month in your business anyways. By starting the program there, you potentially, can't promise you will, but you could potentially get sales the first week by doing some of the sort of super sleuthing that I teach you how to do to really start to create services for your dream client. Week 2, you're going to streamline your styling service after we kind of get a sense of who it's for and what your prices should look like. And we're going to get your client experience looking amazing and feeling amazing. We're going to talk about how you can work less, but create way more in terms of your client experience by inputting the kind of systems that I give you, onboarding, offboarding that actually sells your services for you without you having to say a word, which is pretty cool and has definitely made my clients a lot of money. I have used systems from other creative entrepreneurs that I've met and hired over the years, businesses, and turned them into systems for personal stylists that are very unique because they come from all different industries. I didn't just use one specific type, and my clients really love it. They've never seen anything like it. And if you're not really a systems person like I wasn't, they're super easy. You don't need to have some crazy software or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to do it for free. You can do a more paid and expensive version, or you can do a higher end version. It's kind of a choose your own adventure, but you will get the system either way, regardless of how you choose to deploy it, right? You could do it through Google Forms, you could do it through a lot of different things. And I'll share all of that with you, and it will be super doable. I give you all of my new client forms. I give you my testimonial workbooks, which is exactly what to ask. I send you the emails that you should send to the clients to get the exact wording. I help you incentivize video testimonials. All of that good stuff is in week 2. Week 3, we're going to talk about your marketing. This is what everybody gets excited about because marketing is like the heartbeat of your business. You're not marketing effectively, you don't have a business. So in this module, you're going to learn how to produce marketing content that attracts the right people. You're going to know what kind of content to post when and how that plays into you getting clients for the season ahead. I'm going to show you when you should be putting out certain content versus others to get ready for the upcoming season to make sure you have clients ready to go, booked out. My goal is waitlist for my stylists. I don't take that lightly. It's very important. And so if you are consistent with this marketing plan, you will get that. You will have heard Molly, who was on an earlier episode of this podcast, who did this program, who is booked out for the fall. She did the program in the summer. Less than a month after completing the program, she is now booked out for all of fall. And she did the program in June. We are not even, as the recording of this, in September yet, and she's booked. So I know that it works if you work the system, like all things. It's really fun too when you figure out how your marketing can create sales for you. It almost feels magical because you're like, oh, there is a clear connection between me saying this and me making money. And I don't know about you, but it's something that I wanted in my business many years ago as a stylist. And when I got it, it gave me true confidence and true belief in myself. So that is week 3. Week 4, this is all about sales skills. I have spent a lot of money on learning sales. And one of the things that I am most excited about this program is it really rewrites stylists' view of selling. Because so many of us think that selling is something we need to apologize for, especially as women. But when you see the type of sales framework that I teach, it is relational sales. It is not a hard push. It is not trying to strong arm or trick people. It is when you fully understand your ideal client, when you fully understand their hopes and dreams and fears, you can create your offers for them. And when you create offers for your clients, your ideal clients, what happens is it feels like a gift you get to give them, not like you're taking their money. And often I think we think that we just have a bad relationship with sales, but what we really have is not a great relationship with our services because they're not for anyone. They are too generic. I have had multiple stylists tell me when they went through this program and figured out how to make their services connect with the people that they most wanted to serve, they have never written newsletter emails or reached out to old clients before faster because they were so excited to share what they made for them. And the sale was just an easy byproduct of that excitement. And so we're going to talk through my sales process, through how your content that we talked about in the week before relates to selling and the psychology of sales, how people think, the kind of content your prospect needs to make a buying decision. And I'm also going to give you the framework for closing a sales call. What's been really cool to watch is the stylists that did the last program. 2 of them used the framework in real time the week that we learned it, and they closed 2 sales that they felt like would have been maybe a little bit trickier without that process that they had down, and it works pretty much right away. So it's super, super cool. I love that aspect of the program. And then week 5, this is a really interesting week because it's something called integration week. This is something I learned from being in very high-end business masterminds that's really important because when you're a stylist that's established, okay, you are going so fast. You're doing all the things, which means sometimes you're learning things, but you're not fully letting them sink in. That's what this week is for. If there's any catch-up or anything like that, you're going to have time to do that. I offer 2 Q&A calls this week so that you don't feel like you're being like just left out in the cold if certain things didn't get finished, because I know you guys are running businesses. That's the amazing part about this program is that you don't have like workbooks and stuff like that. You have action plans, and all of those action plans are things you have to do in your business anyways. You have to market anyways. You have to onboard clients anyways. So nothing is like outside of what you would need to do to run a business. It's part of the way you run a business now once you learn these systems. So that's really cool. And in this last week, we go through, again, anything that you're not really clear on, anything that you want to circle back to. If you are in the VIP aspect of this offer, we'll talk about that. There's 2 levels to this program. It's another week for you to get me to look over your content and give you feedback. And again, there's 2 calls here. You can use it as co-working and ask questions. I'll be on there, or you can ask pure Q&A the whole time. Totally up to you how you want to use that. But it is just another week to make sure all of this is sinking in and doing its magic in your business. I will just shared this, that what I think the real benefit of this program is that you get to hear other stylists' experiences and double, triple, quadruple your learning through hearing their questions. I don't know about you, but if I have definitely had the experience of being in a group program that I heard other people asking questions I didn't even think to ask. And as a result of that, I got more out of that program, even retrospectively, because if I wasn't ready for the answer to that question at the time that I heard it, I had it available to me when I was ready in my business. And that is exactly why I think a very small, there's only 8 people in this program, group program, is so valuable. You also learn things like what other people are doing that's working for them, things that aren't working for them, what time management techniques work. That's another thing we talk about a lot is time management and how to make sure that you're building a business to the type of lifestyle that you actually want. And when you're an established stylist, you have the data to know that, right? You know how long it takes you to do a closet edit. You know how long it takes you to do a styling session or to shop for clients or how many edits and rounds you usually need. And so if there's things in there we need to streamline, we do that. Because it's an 8-person program, you get my brain on your business for all 5 weeks. And that means it's very personalized. No 2 people, as Molly talked about in her interview with me, leave this program with the same business. It's impossible because what I teach you is a framework. And what I ask of stylists that come to this program and why you have to be established is I need you to bring your past experiences, and nobody can duplicate your past experiences, your genius as a stylist, and even your life experience. What other types of jobs have you had? What other types of things are you interested in your life that we can bring into your business that makes it more unique and interesting? You have to have experience in order to be able to build the kind of business that I teach you to build in the Income Accelerator. So let's talk about how much it costs. There's 2 price levels. So there's standard access, which does not have me looking over your weekly plans. And that is the early bird price is $2,500. The regular price once the first 2 days of the cart is closed is $3,000. So this is a waitlist sold program. You have to be on the waitlist to be able to buy it. The first 2 days of that waitlist will be available at early bird prices for both levels. And the standard access, which is 3 months access to the course and all of the weekly Q&A calls, and 2 months free inside my upcoming 6-figure stylist masterclass program, which you guys will be hearing more about. It gives you 2 months free access to that. So it's $2,500 during early bird, regular price $3,000 once early bird cart closes. Let's talk about VIP access. That gives you 6 months access to all the course materials and any updates that I make. It gives you 2 months as well, free access to my upcoming masterclass series. It gives you additional strategy refinement call 30 days after the program ends, and weekly feedback from me on your action plans. So all of that is what's included. It's $3,500 for early bird price, and then once the early bird cart closes, it is $4,500. There are 3-part payment plans for all of the levels. So there will also be some bonuses this round that I'm super excited about. If you get in early in the first 2 days, you're going to get a one-on-one call with me to help you kind of strategize a little bit better. I'm going to be able to answer a few questions about, what the things are you're most wanting to focus on, and I'm going to help advise you on how to best do that. You're going to get access to my selling through Instagram stories with this relational sales model that I spoke about today. That's a masterclass you're going to get on-demand access to. So some really fun bonuses that are going to help you go much, much further faster. And if this is something that you are excited about, if this sounds like the kind of program that you think would be perfect for you, hop on the wait list and you will get more information when the cart opens. If you have questions about whether this could be a good fit for you, hop into my DMs on Instagram. I'm going to tell you the truth, depending on where you are. And I'll see you over on Instagram, whether you join me for the next round or not, whether I see you in my DMs about the program or not. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It turns out that social proof is actually pretty important. So if you could help me out, I'd so appreciate it.
If you just had a quick free moment and could leave me a rating or review on the podcast app, that would be killer. And even better, if you wanted to share this episode on Instagram and tag me, that would totally make my day. And it would bring so much more awareness to the podcast and would help other stylists just like you who are looking to build lucrative styling business, because the better each of us does, the better all of us do. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll chat with you next time.